Hi there, welcome to the Love Movement. My name is Asanda. We continue talking about this love of God. If you missed the last episode, I suggest you go back and listen to it because this episode won't make sense to you. We continue talking about Isaac and Ishmael. Ishmael was given a name by God, which means God listens. And Isaac was also given a name by God. But let me tell you the story to the naming of Isaac. So when God told Abraham that he was going to have a child in his old age, he actually laughed, right? But God didn't say anything to him at the time because of his laughter. And then that happened to the time again when Sarah overheard a conversation God was having with Abraham, telling him that they will have a son, and Sarah is the woman who's going to bear the son. She actually laughed and said, "Will I have pleasure in my old age?" And God told Abram that Sarah actually laughed when she heard that she's going to be pregnant. Is there anything too hard for God? And Sarah denied this, but God said, yes, you did laugh, because you can't hide anything from God. Even if he can't see you face to face, but there's nothing we can hide from him, right? So God decided to name this boy Isaac. And the meaning of Isaac is you will laugh or you will rejoice. That was the meaning of his name. So the firstborn's name meant God listens. And the second one meant you will laugh, you will rejoice, which happened to be Abraham and Sarah's son. God had predestined that he's going to make an everlasting covenant through Sarah and Abraham's son, which happens to be Isaac. Not to mean that Ishmael was not blessed. In fact, Ishmael, even before Abraham died, he was a prosperous man because God had said it, and God doesn't go back on his word, right? At the time of the death of Abraham left an inheritance for Isaac. It seemed a bit unfair when I read that, but then I realized that Ishmael had moved out of home a long time ago. And in fact, he was prospering and doing very well. He was a renowned archer at the time. And Abraham left an inheritance for Isaac. This was not the only son of Abraham. After the death of Sarai, Abraham married again and he had 6 other sons. He had 6 other children. A man who had his firstborn after the age of 80. That's how God blesses a man. At the time of Abraham's death, he had remarried and had 6 other sons. But since we're dealing with a God who keeps his covenant, he had made a covenant already through Sarah and Abraham's son, which happens to be Isaac. And God doesn't go back on that. Yes, Abraham did leave an inheritance for his sons, the other children that he had through his other wife Keturah. But God's covenant was through Abraham and Sarah's son, which is Isaac. What was this covenant all about? What was so special about this covenant? Let me tell you. This covenant is what places us where we are, at the right hand of the Father. This was a covenant that gave birth to Jesus, the Messiah. This was the covenant that promised that through Abraham's seed, which happens to be Christ, the whole nation, the whole world will be blessed. God is a covenant-keeping God, and he does not break it. He had sworn by himself that he would bless Abraham and his seed. And that's exactly what he has done for the entire human generation. We all are a blessing to God. We all are blessed. What is required is for us to believe in this covenant. We need to believe and trust that God is able to fulfill what he says he will fulfill, and that God will do only what God can do. Cheers for now. See you next time.